Today I have a special guest. She is a nice yet shy, petite little lady, but that's all trickery. She is a bite-sized ball of energy, and she is also a personal trainer and fitness instructor. Hi, Lisa Alobeyo. How are you today?
Hello, I'm good.
So, just for our listeners to know, I met you a long time ago.
Yes,
and the first memory that I have is at my baby shower too. And now my son is 16. So then I remember your sister, that's how we met. I was talking about working out. She said, "Oh, Lisa's a trainer." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, she's a trainer now." She's like, "Yeah." And then I hired you to be my trainer, and oh my goodness, you worked me.
I remember that treadmill and those boxes.
Yes. And to this day, I cannot go up my steps without having you in my mind chasing me. Like, she's behind me, she's coming, you better get up those steps. So,
good old days.
Yes. So, we're going to get back into that. So, I want to segue a little bit, and I want to ask, when you were little, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh, man, that's an interesting question. It's weird. I wanted to be a physician, a medical, physician, when I was younger, but there was really no reason for me wanting to be that. It was just something in mind. Oh, what do you want to be when you're when you grow up? Oh, I want to be a doctor. I want to be, you always think of the first occupation or that you really hear about often. So that was what I wanted to be. But I honestly, as I grew older and in high school, I did not know what I wanted to be or wanted to do as a career. So I knew I loved to work out and, stay fit and healthy and move. And that's how I got into my major, which is called exercise science and health promotion. Some colleges or universities, they may call it kinesiology or sports medicine, but it all falls under like the same umbrella. And yeah, that's what I went and studied in college, and I am still in the field, and I am loving every minute of it.
Awesome. I love it. And when you started out, okay, so now you've graduated and you're working in the field, and then you decide to move. What pushed you to move from Philly to California?
There was a few different, motivators. I felt very stuck in Philly, and there is nothing wrong with Philly. It was me. I personally felt stuck, and I just felt like I needed something to wake me up. I was working as a fitness specialist at like a community gym, which was all fine, but it wasn't the route I necessarily wanted to take. And I enjoyed doing personal training. I enjoyed teaching, and that's exactly what I was doing at my job a few years back. But I wanted to do it on my terms, and I don't know. I just felt very stuck in Philly. I felt like the people I was surrounding myself there's nothing wrong with it. Like, by all means, I'm not trying to downplay anything or anybody, but I just felt like I was growing into like a different type of butterfly, I guess. And this butterfly wanted to fly. Right. And just experience new things and travel a little bit and just do it without having necessarily like my family right there next door to me, Okay. I needed to know I can do it on my own. And I guess that was one of the biggest motivators that led me to moving to California. And I loved every minute of it. I mean, it was definitely an experience and a half. You know, because the life out there is very different. The financially, I mean, everything costs very different. It's more expensive, but I was there and I survived, and you know, it was definitely, I would say like a goal that I wanted to do sometime in my life, and I did it, and I'm so happy I did.
You still in California?
I am. So this is a whole big mess. So my husband and I, we moved from California to Georgia, and you know, we moved literally in March, and that's when COVID happened.
Wow.
And you know, we were both without work. I mean, we were on the way to getting you know, interviews and all that, but everything literally shut down on us, and we just had to, you know, make a big decision. And so we decided to drive up to Philly because we both have family in Philly. So we're here, you know, now currently we're still in Philly, but we do still plan on going back to Georgia sometime, hopefully towards the end of the year when things start getting back to normal.
Okay.
But we'll see. I mean, I've become the type of person to kind of like ride the boat, ride the wave, and wherever that wave hits, that's where I go. So, you know, that's the person I feel like I've become, which is kind of cool. So
that is nice and eye-opening too. So also with this industry that you're in and COVID happening, like all the gyms have been shut down, and how has that transformed what you do now?
Well, it in a way, it's funny. I was talking to someone the other day, and I was saying how with COVID happening, it was kind of a blessing in disguise. My goal for this year was for me to move my business, my personal training, my group exercise classes, and into a more online, virtual track. And with COVID happening and gyms closing, and you know, I had to speed that process. So currently I am teaching virtually. I'm also training virtually. I have classes that I run 3 times a week, and they're live on Instagram and Facebook, but they're private. So the classes, you pay for the month, so it's $15 a month, 3 classes a week, which is a steal.
Yes, it is.
I took the route of more of like a subscription. Okay. You know, you subscribe to Netflix and you get all these movies, shows. So in a sense, I'm doing this out of the comfort of my home. It's not necessarily costing me anything, but it is a service that I'm providing.
Right.
So I decided, you know, personal training, you know, sometimes even like memberships at gyms, they're not cheap, you know? And I feel like that discourages people to working out, even though, you know, that's just extra. Going to a gym, that's extra. You can work out anywhere with anything, you know, and you know that.
Yes, I was about to say that. Yes.
Exactly. Like, we did our workouts in your house, in your basement, with boxes and stairs and whatever you had, you know? So I decided, you know, I do offer my personal training. I offer, you know, private classes, like, aside from the $15 3 classes a week. But I decided to offer something that was a little more accessible for people. Right. Because, you know, I like to give back and I like to help everybody. But I know if I'm making this my business, I need to have a line, you know, a boundary, because then I won't ever make money, you know, because I'm offering everything free. And, oh yeah, I got you. Yeah, this. But in reality, I need to make sure that I am getting my cut, but also helping as many people as I plan to help, you know? Exactly. So offering these $15 a month classes 3 times a week, you see me live, and I have the live classes, they stay up 24 hours. So even if you can't see me live, you know, when I teach the classes, you can catch me an hour later, 2 hours later, 10 hours later, you know what I mean? And still get the same motivation, still get the same interaction, you know? So yeah, that was my plan, but it happened because of COVID. It's happening sooner, so it's a blessing in disguise.
And it's a great way to look at it. It's a great approach to take from a business perspective, but also at a time like this where people are home and just sitting around, and you see the memes, they go look all slender, and then by the time they're going to come outside, they're going to be bigger. You can not feel so guilty. This is a steal to be able to tap into your classes and work out from home.
Right.
And not feel like you're missing anything. And like you said, you can do just about anything, because we were doing some of everything in my basement. You was looking around and putting stuff together. I'm like, well, hey, but that's the professional.
That throughout the years, for sure. People look at me like, oh no, she got the eyes.
Yes, yes. I'm like, oh, here she goes. She coming up with something. But lo and behold, like even my treadmill, I'm like, okay, let's turn it on. You're like, no, we're not going to turn it on.
No, we're not going to turn it on.
What do you mean?
We're not going to waste electricity.
Right.
Let's just keep it off.
Yeah, like what do you mean? Oh, you're going to do it manually. Oh.
Like dead treadmill is what I called it.
Yes, I was just like, okay. So it and that innovation, you know, the thought process to put stuff together. To train with you is fun. Now, also, let me explain. You met my friend Alex, who now follows you on Instagram, and
yes.
When we were done, when we worked out, and you had the class at the art museum,
right?
Let me tell you something. When we left, she said, "Always those little ones. It's always the little people." We were done. We couldn't breathe. We were done. And it's almost to the point whereas if you really want to be challenged, and it's a metaphor for life, and it's you did it physically, but it's mentally also. Anytime you want to see a change happen, you have to push yourself, or nothing's going to change. You're going to stay the way that you are. And once again, steps, they are not my friend. And you were like, come on, Latoya. And you came behind me getting up them art museum steps. I'm like, yeah, we're not going to do this. And it's like, all right, I'm going to get up these steps. But afterwards, it's such a feeling of an accomplishment. Like, wow, I survived another one of Lisa's sessions. You know what I mean? But I also didn't realize I had the capacity to do that much, you know.
And that's what I really love. Like, being able to show people, yo, you can do this. Mm-hmm. And then they finish the session, and then they think like, wow. Like how you're just saying, yes. Wow, I had the capacity to do this.
Yes. And I think that's so necessary, especially at a time like today where you don't know what's going to happen. But if anything, I think to combat any of this is you want to make sure you're healthy. You want to make sure that not even just physically healthy, but the effects that exercise has on you mentally. You know, it's so vast, and I don't think people pay attention. They just think, oh, I don't feel like doing the workout. But once again, not only that sense of accomplishment, but you think clearer.
Yeah.
It's almost like a domino effect. You know, you think clearer, you have more energy. Once you get over that initial soreness, you do have more energy to get through your day. You've built up your stamina.
Right.
It does so many things, and just like that,
you even sometimes sometimes you have to lose some bad energy too, and exercise can help with that.
Yes.
I've had so many clients and people tell me, man, I've had such a bad day. I need a great workout.
Yes.
Like, oh, okay.
Yes.
And at the end of it, they're like, thank you. Like, I feel so much better now. I can breathe.
Yes. And it's so true. Because it's shaking off the bad juju, the bad energy. Mm-hmm. Like, I am great. And once again, like, if I got through my day and once again one of Lisa's workouts, do anything. And I don't want to deter anyone from her workout. It's not that at all. What happens is it looks simple till you start moving and you start waking up muscles you forgot you had, you didn't know existed. You're like, okay, and this, you hear her smile and her laughter coming through, but this is not the Lisa that you get in training at all. This, what was your nickname? Little Evil? Yes, you.
Oh man, I had so many different. What was it? Tiny Mighty.
Yes. But you know what? It's definitely necessary, and I always push your team. Anyone who follows my Instagram, I always try to put the positive quotes just to get you through.
I love that.
Thank you. And recently I've really been pushing your team, and that team can be whether it's your team at work or your team that you surround yourself with, your best friend, your confidant, your whoever is there to help you get through and get you to your goal. So you're part of my team because when you do have classes, I try to show up, and I know I'm gonna get a quality workout. I know my body is going to be challenged, and yeah, I'm gonna sign up too because that's definitely a steal. I'm gonna get that together too and work out.
Yes.
Yes.
Listen, I want to help so many people, and I feel like this is probably the best way I can do that.
Yes. Yes, so, for sure. And
take advantage.
Yes, and remember we talked about that before you even went to California. I was like, you need to do some virtual. You had a couple people ask you.
Yeah, and I did. I was kind of off and on with it, because I went to Cali. I was working my ass off, and it got to a point where I was really building my clientele. But then, which was great by all means, that was obviously what I wanted. But at the same time, I felt like I was getting overwhelmed because I did a lot of footwork. I did a lot of traveling, and I didn't always necessarily wanted to have the car because I was in the downtown area of Los Angeles, and I mean, you got to pay for parking. It's like downtown Philly, you can't really, you have to take public transportation if you know you're going to be there for a long time. And so I did a lot, like I walked, oh my goodness, miles and miles because I had to go from one gym to the next, and from that gym I had like a 2, 3, 4 hour break, and then I had to be back. So it was very like a lot of back and forth. And I was getting distracted on what I really, really wanted to do, which was really focus on my online business.
Okay.
So yeah.
I think it's awesome now that you will be able to attract more clientele and reserve that energy for these intense workouts that you give, because to stay on top of your clients and to still stay focused yourself, that takes a lot of energy. Period.
Yeah, it
It
does.
It does.
Mentally too. I mean, sometimes when it's time for me to work out, I'm drained. I don't work out my head so much, my mind, that it's like I'm tired. But I know that when I do work out, I feel good. I feel better. So I know it's still a very, very, very important part of my day, of my routine, to like still get, even if it's 30 minutes. Even if I like just go for a nice long walk, like I need to keep moving because it helps me mentally and physically. So yeah.
Well, I think that's awesome. So normally I give my listeners homework, and it's free for you to give homework on whatever you want our listeners to do. I'm gonna give it to you this week. What do you want to homework you want to give our listeners?
So what would I want to give my listeners as far as homework?
Yeah.
Well, I know there's like two types of people right now during this pandemic. There's people that are working or may not work, may not be working, but are very comfortable. And then they're, and are in a sense kind of being lazy, they're not getting out of their pajamas and, they're lounging on the couch with their computer or whatever the case may be. And then there's another part or other types of people that are actually taking advantage of this time and like, you know what, let me take 12 to 1 or 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, and let me just do something. And not even like just exercise, but just like take their mind, like really be productive within themselves. And so I would say I challenge, the listeners to think about their day-to-day and like, what exactly are you doing? Yes, you're working, but if you're not working, what are you doing? Are you taking advantage of this time to build, or are you just watching Netflix the rest of the day?
Right.
I challenge people to like, if whatever they've been wanting in their lives, whether it's physical, whether it's business related, or just trying to get like extra money, cash, or however, or even just trying to be more creative, I challenge you to take advantage of this time, because once this pandemic is over, I don't know how life is going to get back to normal, how quick that's going to be, but it's not going to be like this anymore. Right. So take advantage of this time that you have, that everybody has, and do what you really want to do. Do what you've been talking about doing. Yes. And do it. That's it. Like, just do it.
Yes, just do it.
Be like Nike and do it.
Just do it. Perfect. I love it. So with all the challenges you've gone through over the past couple of years and with the pandemic coming, what is your mantra? What gets you through the day?
Oh, my mantra started when I was young, and this was in middle school. And this is something I never forget. I repeat it so often. And even my husband, long story, but we had, we went to middle school together. So I've known him for years, since we were young. And we had the same teacher who always wanted, it was a music teacher, and she always had her class recite this every single day before class. And it was, excuses are tools of incompetence that build monuments of nothingness, and those that practice in their youth are seldom capable of anything else. Wow. And I've lived the rest of my life with no excuses. I mean, granted, people make mistakes, and that's fine. Own up to it and just be better next time. Wow. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to, oh man, I'm so sorry. Be sorry, but just be better next time. That's all.
Wow.
So my mantra is no excuses.
That is beautiful. And kudos to that teacher. That's what I'm talking about. Instilling in the youth. That's right. Look at how you still carry that. So
I do.
Shout out to the teachers. So yes. And you're a teacher too. Because like I said, now when I see steps, I got to tackle steps because I still feel Lisa behind me.
Yes. Awesome. That is my goal, for people to life happens, so sometimes either, people move on, sometimes you can't be with the same trainer for the rest of your life, but if I can just create that impact,
yes,
that I accomplished something.
Yes, you have. Definitely with me.
So when I hear things like that, it makes me feel good, because I know, we're no longer training, but it's because life happened.
Right.
But if I just was able to plant a little seed,
yes,
and that person just remembers, then I made my mark. I did what I was supposed to do.
Yes, you did.
So I'm happy.
Thank
I'm really happy.
you. Awesome. And you don't ever stop. Keep pushing it out. And I know you love what you do, and when you love it, it's not work.
Exactly.
So this is beautiful. Exactly. You were lucky to find it and work in your field. So that's awesome. So how can these listeners find you?
So I am pretty active on social media, Instagram. So my social media or Instagram handle is Soli. So it's spelled SOLI _ inspired. INSPIRED. I promote fitness. I've been promoting my classes that I've been doing for the past 2 weeks. 3 times a week, $15 a month. Let's get it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I've just been doing, and that's another thing. I love what I do, but as far as like the business side of it, it's a struggle for me. So social media, I love it, but sometimes people fall off and then they get right back on.
Right.
And this is my time to really like hone in on doing the marketing that I need to do for myself.
The business side, yeah.
So yeah, social media, Instagram, and then I do have Facebook. And girl, I use it, but I don't even know my handle.
Well, right now you're on Instagram, so if that's where they can reach you,
can reach me on Instagram. I would say that's probably best. Right. But I do have my Facebook. It's Lisa Marie. I mean, that's what
It's Marie at Facebook. All right, but to sign up for these classes, they can go on Instagram. There we go. That's what we need. We need to make sure we come out ready when the pandemic is done. We're body ready. We're going to get this together and we're going to look up Lisa and have this body right. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. All right.